Let's light it up.
What is up, everybody? Today on Knife Tales, it's a new series. We are joined by my good buddy, Chris Rossman. He is our floor manager here at Smoky Mountain Knife Works and our resident martial arts expert. You saw him on our video if you watched it when we did our pumpkin carving. We had a fantastic time with that, Chris. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, what we want to talk to people about is how you got into martial arts and how you got into designing knives, too, because you are an actual knife designer for us as well with your Kensei line. So what got you into martial arts and what got you into these knife designs?
Well, I started martial arts training when I was about 12 years old. It was really kind of a typical story of I was a really skinny, weak little 12-year-old. Wasn't into team sports, just wasn't my thing. And to be frank, I was getting bullied and all that. Got into the martial arts, got good at it, really got into the art of it. The bully thing kind of went away because even if you just carry yourself with confidence and all that, I have stayed with it. It's a love of mine. And I've done all kinds of martial arts, traditional, self-defense oriented, tournament. But I really just love the art of the arts. Knife design, I would have to say my real love for knives started with one of my instructors, Guru Saragar. That was C-lot instruction. And in C-lot, they basically, I mean, there's a lot of knife and stick use, but his philosophy was all the time that every hand is a knife and every knife is a hand. So your technique, no matter what you're doing,
right,
could be sharp or could be your hands. And with that, he was also a knife maker. He made beautiful knives out of things like car leaf springs, circular saws, and he was a wood carver. So he'd make these beautiful handles and everything. And that love, I mean, that just stayed with me. And then after many years of teaching public school and running public martial arts academies, when I retired from education, we moved to East Tennessee here. And I had always had the Smoky Mountain Knife Work catalog in my house. My wife and I have been together since high school. And I remember us, we were like 18 years old. And we're sitting in my room watching TV. And like, there's a Smoky catalog. Matter of fact, I still have the first knife I bought from that catalog. It's actually in my truck right now as we speak.
That's really cool.
So that it ended up that at one point we were both working here. We look at each other and go, this is just so strange. Of course, my first 6 months here was a little rough because you were kind of putting a lion in a butcher shop. I think I probably gave my whole paycheck and back, because it just kept buying knives and buying knives.
I understand that.
But with some conversations with Kevin, and when Kevin found out my background, he was like, you should have a knife line. We should have you designing knives. And it started with the Karombi, which has been a great seller. It sells out on a regular basis. And then it just kind of rolled forward from there.
So you've got a really cool example of that original design
Yes.
from your idol there. So why don't you show
Sure.
that to everybody?
This is my original Karombi. This was made for me by my teacher. The blade he made out of a titanium circular saw blade. And as I said, he was a wood carver. This is a zebra wood handle. And basically, the thing with Karombi is, and I had noticed this in the market, was that a decent one, they were either very expensive or you had to personally know a knife maker.
Right.
So when Kevin and I first sat down and he asked me what he thought should be my first design, I said, let's make a good Karombi that's affordable. I said, can we do that? He said, absolutely. So basically, I took this exact traditional design and we did it with not a titanium saw blade and not with a tiger wood handle, but with G10 scales and a good 440A and a good black coating on it. And this way, it was a knife that was affordable, so you could train with it and not be afraid of what training does to it. Whereas if you're training with a $600 knife, you're not going to train right, really. You're going to just baby it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is an absolutely beautiful example right there. That is fantastic and a great piece of history and great memory from your teacher there.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And an awesome sheath, too.
The sheath, actually, it didn't have a sheath because You would wear in the traditional Filipino martial arts, you'd wear a sarong,
Right.
it's called, and you would tuck that knife in the sarong and wear it. The sheath was made for me by a Knife Works employee, a clerk, who was just really handy with leather. They wanted to see this knife, and that's like a whole other story. They said, "Hey, do you have a sheath for it?" I said, "No," and they made me. It was just so nice.
That's
that
awesome.
They made me that sheath because I mean, I don't walk around in a sarong. And even if I did, maybe it
Every
wouldn't
day.
be sarong. But okay, sorry.
Nice dad joke there. That was awesome. So moving on, we've got this design here. Now, this is how do you pronounce that
This
name?
is Toranoha, which means
Toranoha.
tiger tooth.
Okay.
And this came about from, I've always looked at ulu knives and always thought, well, basically, to not be too rough about this, but anything that's designed to really cut up meat in the kitchen can be altered to cut up meat in self-defense, basically.
Right.
And this was a vision of an altered ulu that would be a great self-defense knife. It offers different grip situations this way, depending what kind of pressure you want to put on things. And just the self-defense application with this, because of its shape, because of its tucked inness, there's a lot of things you can do. And when I looked at it, I was seeing that like that saber-toothed tiger kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why we kind of came up with the tiger tooth.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's got great weight to it there. That's a beautiful blade, and it's very substantial. Very easy to hold, and beautiful handles there.
And part of the philosophy of the whole Kensei line is, let's make this knife as good as we can, as sturdy as we can, but let's make it as affordable as possible, because folks that really train with blades, your training blade, if you're really training hard, a couple of years, you're going to have it destroyed. You're going to need another one.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, like you said before, you can't afford to keep buying, $600 knives to do that kind of training with.
And every knife has its place. A beautiful work of art that costs you $600 or $1,000 is a beautiful work of art.
Right.
Yeah, you don't beat that up.
Now, I've seen your sword down there. It's beautiful. I've seen your fixed blade that you've got. It's fantastic. But this is the newest design.
If I could just step back for a second,
Absolutely.
There's a little story with the sword that's kind of interesting. When I went to Kevin and said I wanted to design a sword, at first he was kind of like, swords are kind of, they usually do, it's one run and there's very few. And I said to him, no, I think I really have something here that will have a great likability to folks that actually train sword. And I think it'll have that same attraction to folks that just want to buy one and display it.
Right.
So when I came up with that design, I had both of those audiences in mind. And that sword has actually, for a sword, because that's different than knives,
right,
is actually doing really well.
It's a beautiful example.
You.
It's fantastic. And, like we've said, you can find these in our store and on our website. It's our Kensei line, designed by Chris Rossman right here. And this is your newest design that you just come out with. We just got those in the store in the last month.
Yeah, as it says on the box here, Ashigaru. Ashigaru means foot soldier. That was your basic samurai. Those were the ones that they were not riding the horses. These were the guys that were on foot. So if the army moved, 50 miles, they walked 50 miles with their stuff. I wanted a pocket knife that was handy in a lot of different ways. First of all, there's about 9 layers of G10 here, cut to look like a samurai sword handle. Nice appearance, but the reason I wanted it thick like that is because when you hold it in your hand like this, you can use it as a kubaton, and it has a comfortable hold that way. So I wanted it to be good for self-defense, whether it was open or closed. It has a ball bearing in there, so it opens up really fast and clean. And we were having a discussion before we started filming about the smoothness of this. To me, a self-defense knife, you want to be careful about mechanisms. Mechanisms can fail. And as my knife teacher had said to me, if your mechanism fails, what you have now is a rock to throw at it.
Exactly.
So a ball bearing's not going to fail. And then we just kind of went with a blade that would look a little bit like a samurai sword. So we're kind of keeping a theme to it.
Absolutely, and like you said, it's a fantastic action there. Beautiful G10 scales on that, and it fits really well in the hand. For its size, it's extremely lightweight. just beautiful. And I got to be honest, red and black, that's my favorite color scheme. So that works really great for me.
There's actually a little
anyways.
piece to that too. The belt that I wear as a Kensei is a red and black belt. So we try to red and black
Nice.
in the
okay.
in the line as much as we can, or at least red, or at least black. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you still want me to leave that one with you after the show, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that is going home with me. Absolutely. Chris, that is fantastic. And a really cool story, and cool story about your teacher and how you got the inspiration there for your designs. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Folks, this has been our first installation of our Knife Tales series. We're going to be coming at you with a lot more of this stuff. Just cool stories from around the knife world. If you like this video, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you will know when we drop new videos. And join us in the comments down below. Tell us what you think. Give a shout out to Chris. He does a fantastic job with us, and he is so much fun to work with. And folks, remember, right here at SMKW, if it cuts, we carry it.